And then we'll go ahead and get this reassembled. Put that little felt gizmo in there. Must be some kind of filter of some sort. And get my old fat hands to work. This still looks like it's got a little bit of crud in it. Okay. You can kind of see there's a little concaved spot in that. Kind of poke that down in there. See that piece right there lines up on that filter, so it's kind of set down in there. Put this little spring in here that went flying on us. It sits right there. Down in there, we're putting it better backwards from what we took it apart. So that spring's in there. That little peg fits down on top of that deal right there. Okay. Now we'll go ahead and check out this little tiny needle valve. I don't know if you can see that or not. Not very big. Not very big at all. But it looks like it's pretty good. It doesn't have a groove in it. I'm not going to take a chance of blowing that with air and shooting it across the shop. We'll drop that in. A little tiny spring. Runs the little arm that picks up the needle valve. A little tiny thing there. I feel like a watchmaker here. That little spring goes down in there. Slide that shaft over a little. Bring that spring up. Get this little screw started, so once I do get it, I can tighten it down. You got her started. Lift up on that arm. Slide that little spring right under that detent in that arm. I'm going to get in there a little better. There we go. And that slips down, the fork goes in the needle valve. Keep that pressed so everything stays lined up. Tighten up the screw. Snug that up. Check it. Yep, everything works fine. This right here is what pumps on that little arm. As that diaphragm goes up and down, that little peg there pushes on that spring and opens up the gas. clean. It goes on there. This little primer, you push on that and it pushes fuel out. Let's see, I believe that one. And when you let it off, it sucks fuel in there, it comes back past this little flapper valve. So that goes on like that. Get that all seated down in, and then these little machine screws. Everything's started in here, make sure everything's lined up. I'm staying in frame there so you can see what I'm doing. Snip them down. Okay. Don't know if you can hear that. That's evidently showing that our valve's working. Okay, we'll get this throttle on here. And give that just a little bit of lube, just so it's not going in there dry. Sure, get that on there in the right direction. Throttle seems to be working fine. Alright. Make sure you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, I think you can see that. Okay. Well, this will go on like that. Go ahead and slide those fuel lines on. Okay. Throttle seems to be working fine. Slip that on there. Breather. Plate, a little plate of some sort. Snap down. Last time I tried to start this, I did take the plug out and clean it in the grit blaster thing. I checked the oil. The oil's still up in it. After we get through operating it today, we'll go ahead and put change the oil before I put it up for the winter. Okay, we'll tighten up this throttle here. Should still be okay because I haven't changed the adjustment on it. Bottom adjustment there, we'll just tighten that up. Alright. Check the throttle. Out. Well, didn't work, my cable fell out. I'm going to loosen this back up. Sure that cable's all the way out. Reach up there and drop it into the linkage. Snap that down in there. There we go. Not much room on this little thing. Sure is a good little tiller, but I just don't use it enough to keep it from getting gummed up. And I've tried emptying the fuel out of it for the winter and putting stable in it, and it just always seems to get bound up. So, and it's not that big a deal to take the carburetor off. Alright, air cleaner back on. Okay.